Hey guys, welcome to Reignited and our budget race truck series. This is our 2006 Chevy Colorado that I've swapped an Atlas 4.2 liter inline-six engine into, and I've turbocharged it. Now we've reached an exciting stage of this build because we're taking this thing down to JSR Performance in Dyno. He's gonna get this thing all tuned up. We're gonna find out exactly how much power this thing makes. Will it survive? I have no idea, but I'm excited to find out. But before we jump into that, let's take a quick look back at all the work we've done to get to this point. Oh,
what?
Right there. Oh, so it looks like it needs maybe more fuel or more air, one or the other. All right, down here at the dyno in Sutherland, Oregon, we're gonna try to get this thing tuned up, see what kind of power we'll be able to make with it. All right, we got the Colorado out here at the dyno, and this is exactly why you bring things to a tuner if you don't know exactly what you're doing, because one of the immediate things that he figured out right off the bat is that my injector dead time was not accurate for this thing. Therefore, basically anything I'm building off of that after that is completely useless. You can make it work, but it's just not going to be accurate. So he fixed that injector dead time. He's working on setting up the idle right now and really get this thing running smoothly. He did more in the first minute and a half than I did in 3 or 4 days screwing around with this stuff. So the reality is you got to take your vehicle to a tuner if you want it done right. Also, a clarification here, guys, just so you know that even though on the internet it says you can take a stock block engine and just boost it as much as you want, in reality that's not really the greatest idea. This engine is 1000% stock. We've done nothing to it internally, and who knows how many miles out of the Trailblazer it came out of. I have no idea. So honestly, the tuner is going to do what he can. We're just going to throw some boosts at this thing and see what happens. I'm not worried about it, because the reality is if we blow it up, we'll just throw another one in there. And again, this, if it does blow up, it certainly wouldn't be the fault of anybody, let alone the tuner themselves. Stock block stuff, we're always basically playing a gamble here every time we do this. So we'll see how it turns out.
Again, like third gear. Third gear?
We're gonna get started here. He's gonna do some basically light loading, get this thing all cruise set up, and then kind of just lightly, not quite into boost yet, he's just gonna ramp it up, get that area of the map all cleaned up and perfect. And we're gonna kind of try to scale that up for once we actually get into boost, kind of see what kind of power numbers this thing will make. But very excited to finally get this thing on the dyno. If you guys are enjoying the Colorado build, I think you'll also enjoy my Dodge Magnum build. Now this is a 2005 that I swapped a 392 Hemi engine into, and I've supercharged and turbocharged it. So it is twin charged, makes a ton of power. If you guys have any interest in watching that build series, I'll go ahead and put that right here. And it's really exciting, a lot of fun so far. Very cool, so nice to see a professional in action. You can tell he knows what he's doing. He's really just going through it by the numbers, improving it here, there. Really doing a nice job building up to when we're going to do those power runs. I have faith. I think we can do over 400 even on 11, but I don't know. We'll have to find out. Sounds pretty cool. Oh my gosh. That thing screams up top. Goodness.
Three 376.
Yeah, 376, 385 torque. We're only making about 6 pounds of boost. Now we've got 11-pound spring in the wastegate, but basically because of back pressure reasons, same kind of thing I was facing in my Dodge Magnum, we're only making 6 pounds of boost. Okay, let me jump in real quick here and explain what's happening. For our wastegate, we have 2 springs in there that when combined, they are supposed to be 11 pounds. So that was kind of the number we were expecting to see, but we were only getting 6.8 pounds. Now, why is that the case? Well, in a nutshell, the turbo's too small. When we size this turbo out, it says that this turbo is capable of 600 horsepower. However, it would be doing much better if we had a smaller displacement engine, say a 2.5 liter or a 3 liter. Right now, because we have a 4.2 liter, that engine is physically moving so much air in the upper RPM that it's creating a lot of back pressure in the turbo system. So it just can't physically cram all that air through the turbine housing on the turbo. That being the case, that air is going to look for an alternate exit, which in this case is the wastegate. So even though the spring pressure is at 11 pounds, at 6.8 pounds, we have enough back pressure in the turbo manifold that it's forcing that wastegate open and going out the screamer pipe there. To combat this is actually a fairly simple process. All we need to do is add some air pressure to the top of the wastegate to help hold that wastegate shut until we do actually achieve that target wastegate boost pressure. You'll actually see that a little bit later here in some of the dyno runs. You'll see a little regulator, external regulator we have hooked up. And we ran about 4 PSI through that thing. It was just enough to hit our target boost of 10 PSI. Now, because as you go up in boost pressure, you're actually getting more and more back pressure through the system, there's really some diminishing returns that come with this. So you really don't want to pump it up to like 25 PSI or something like that, because then the turbo would be completely inefficient at that point. The true solution here would be to buy a larger turbo with a larger turbine housing. That is our plan for the future. But for right now, with the boost pressures that we're targeting, this works absolutely perfectly. As far as a long-term solution, what we need to do is add a 4-port boost controller. Again, same thing I did on my Magnum. It worked perfectly on that, so we can intentionally add boost to the top of that wastegate so we can hit our target number. Right now, 6 pounds of boost just isn't gonna get this thing done. We were aiming for 400 wheel, and we're honestly only 15 horsepower away, and that's at 6 pounds of boost. We were planning on running this thing at 14 pounds, so pretty sure we're gonna hit that number no problem. So I don't know, we'll see what we do in this next run. I think we're gonna up the timing just a little bit too, because it was a little soft on timing. Again, I backed that way off just to make sure we were safe. So let's add a bit more timing, hopefully add a bit more boost, see what we can do. too. Yeah.
Twin torque stayed just about exactly the same.
Yeah.
You can drag that down so you can see the velocity.
Yeah, just a little bit right at the top there.
So close. Look at that.
Oh, that's it, 405? Yeah, I wonder if it, I wonder if that back pressure is worse than we thought. It did make 10? Okay. Well, honestly, 405 at 10 pounds is a lot more than I thought it was going to make anyway, because I was thinking at 14 pounds we'd be, you know, 410.
392 at 6 or 6.8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, that sounded good.
426.
Oh!
Heavy numbers.
Exactly right.
Drop torque, but gained a ton of horsepower.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. 426. Hell yeah. Something else I thought was kind of funny is that obviously I'm kind of known as the Hemi guy on YouTube, and one of our dyno runs was 392 horsepower and another run was 426 horsepower. So we definitely had the Hemi connection. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think she's got some few miles on her. I don't know, honestly. That looks fun. Very cool.
A little wild there.
Yeah, exactly. Also, guys, I just want to put this out there. With all of these dyno runs, not one little bit of clutch slip. That Clutch Max clutch in there, $108. How is this possible that it is that good and that cheap? Again, not sponsored. I'm blown away by the value per dollar with that thing. Absolutely amazing. All the chop. Yeah. All right, All right, let's talk about how our displacement is helping us. Let me go ahead and put the dyno graph up on the screen right now. Take a look at that torque curve. It's not even a curve. That thing is flat as a pancake. We're making near 400 foot-pounds of torque over that huge stretch right there. Absolutely impressive what this thing is putting out. All right, you guys, 426 horsepower at only 10 pounds of boost. This thing is making great power and it's really responding well. Massive thank you to Jaden at JSR Performance and Dyno for getting this thing locked in for us. So happy with these results. I can't wait to take this thing to the track. Speaking of which, let me clue you guys in on the schedule. Today is September 10th. Well, on September 19th, we are taking the truck to a Friday night drags type of thing at our local drag strip. We're gonna test the truck out, trying to feel it out, see how it works. And then just a couple of days later, on September 22nd, we are going to the Redwood Rally. That is our local drag and drive event. It's a week-long event, and it's literally the event that this truck was built for. So you guys are gonna see some real-world results with this thing very shortly. I hope you guys are excited about it. As always, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time on Reignited.